Hey guys, so today's video is very special. I know it is very long, so I'm not going to make this intro long at all. I'm going to try to talk as fast as I can and get through this as fast as I can. But today's video is very special, and the reason why it's special is because I interviewed the two Make-A-Wish volunteers who helped make my Make-A-Wish a reality. For those who don't know, I had my Make-A-Wish granted December 17th, 2014, and I spent Christmas in New York City, and I went to go see The Lion King and went behind the scenes and met cast members, and it was truly a memorable experience. So around this time, I do think of Christmas, but I also think of Make-A-Wish because I spent Christmas in New York in 2014 as part of my Make-A-Wish, which was really incredible. But I had the honor to interview my two Make-A-Wish volunteers, and what they said was very powerful. So I know this video is long, but it is so worth it. Without further ado, enjoy the video.
Okay, for me it was, I saw a documentary or something on TV where I saw these celebrities like athletes and stuff that went into a hospital, and they visited these kids that were sick, and so I thought that was a cool thing. So I was talking to someone about work, about, not that I was any celebrity or, you know, great athlete or anything, but I said that's a great thing that they were doing. So I thought, man, I wouldn't mind getting involved with something like that. So whoever I was talking to at the time, this was like 16 years ago or something, so they told me, I think that's Make-A-Wish. Ends up it wasn't, but, you know, so I contacted Make-A-Wish, and that's how I got involved with it. So it wasn't exactly what I saw, but it, you know, it was just, you know, just same idea with what I was looking for to do. So that's how I got involved with it.
When I was a child, my older brother got HIV from a blood transfusion when he was a baby, and because of that, Make-A-Wish granted a wish for him, which was to go to Hawaii. The whole family got to go to Hawaii, and as a child it blew me away, and I thought it was really cool, and he really loved it, and it was great for the whole family, and ever since then it's always stuck with me. I always thought about it.
Okay, so we're volunteers, so we're not paid, you know, employees for Make-A-Wish. We just volunteer. So our roles can be, at least for me, it's where I do interviews to grant wishes like we did for you. Plus we can do like fundraising events. I've done that, or even awareness events. We used to do more of that in Santa Cruz, but we were kind of a renegade group. So we would do things on our own, like the 4th of July. You ever hear the littlest parade in the world? Mm-hmm. We would have a, you know, one of the guys that ran the limousine service, he would use his limousine and would have wish kids, pass wish kids and fill up the car with them, and, you know, would have a sign and go down into the parade with that. But Make-A-Wish, we kind of did that on our own. It wasn't like a sponsored thing from the chapter office in San Francisco, so they kind of put an end to that. But we'd do things like that too. So that's how I'm involved in Make-A-Wish myself. And, you know.
Yeah, like Bob said, we're volunteers, and we the best part is we get to go to the house of the child and meet the family, meet the child, get to know them, and then we're kind of like the middleman between the family and the organization. We tell them everything that we've learned about the child and how to make their wish as special as possible. Not just the actual wish, but the whole experience for the child when we get to go back and tell the family that it got approved and this is when you're leaving, depending on the wish. And yeah, we've worked fundraisers too. We'll go do the heavy lifting or whatever they need help with. And I've gone to a couple schools, elementary schools, and talked to classes about what Make-A-Wish is, which is really fun.
The one I had was, I know you're asking for one, but I have a couple. One was when, I don't know, like with Make-A-Wish, a lot of people think that Make-A-Wish is for children that, you know, they're going to die. That's what a lot of people think. So we were on a wish, and you could tell right off the bat that the father was not comfortable with us. And you know, he was almost kind of glaring at us, and then finally he came out with, says, my son isn't going to die. And I said, wait, I said, what? You know, and he said, my son isn't going to die. I said, we don't think he's going to die either. He goes, well, that's what isn't that why you're here? And I said, no. No, I said, no, we do, all the wishes I've done, I mean, no, that's very rarely happens. I've seen kids that I've done, you know, I still run into them. No, it's not at all what the way Make-A-Wish is. No, it's just for, you know, children with, you know, illnesses that are life-threatening. After that, it completely changed. The next time we came back, we were the best people in the world, so he was great. So we had a great time on that one, but that's one that was, you know, a lot of people don't realize that, and that's how that started, that one. But the most difficult one was one I actually did with Emilio. This was in the last couple of years, I think, and it was right in our hometown. And the reason it was so difficult was it was for the family's daughter, and she was, what was she, Amelia, about 13 or something, 14 or something?
Yeah,
like
she
that?
was in 8th grade.
And she had a illness where her functions deteriorate, where she can't communicate anymore, and then she's then confined first to, like, she might be on crutches, whatever, and then finally confined to just like a very specialized wheelchair and stuff, so she couldn't, you know, function anymore as far as communication goes. They knew that she was aware, she had awareness of things, but she couldn't talk anymore. And so when the parents were talking to us about it, and she was a nurse there taking care of her, and then she had to go off to her room to get some help with something. I can't remember. Emilio went because he bought a really nice gift for her. Like I think it was butterflies or something.
Yeah.
That hung on up near the window, so she could look at it. She loved it. You could see her reaction right away. And we bought her that, and it was like she loved it. And so they went out to put that in her room. Emilio did, and then I was talking to the father, and what made it so tough was he was showing me pictures of her when she was just a little girl, and she looked completely normal. I mean, a beautiful little girl, and she could talk, and you know, just to see that happen. And he got teary-eyed too when he was, you know, telling me. So that was tough. But then when they were and when he was telling me this, and Mila was in the other room, I could hear all this commotion going on too, and they were kind of distracted, and he was looking a lot like into the other room. Well, and then all of a sudden the brother comes out, and he's severely autistic. So, and you know, and then he was kind of crawling over me and grabbing stuff, and it was just I never, you know, been involved with one that difficult, and to you know, realize how good we have it, you know, to see what that family was going through every day, every minute. I mean, it was just really tough. So that one to me was the toughest one, just to see what the family was going through daily, hourly, minute by minute. It was just, you know, really tough.
Yeah, no breaks for them. Both children were in and out of the hospital often, and it's just the two parents and the nurse. And I ran into the mom sometime after that, and she'd mentioned that the nurse had quit and not even given them like 2 weeks notice. So yeah, that was the toughest one, absolutely. That was pretty rough. I did another one that was unique, where the boy was 17, which is kind of on the end spectrum of like the oldest kids that I deal with in Make-A-Wish. It's kind of rare. And his wish was to go to somewhere in Europe, but he was having major kidney problems. He was waiting for a kidney transplant, and his dad was going to be the donor at the last minute. After all the tests they run, he wasn't able to do it, and he only wanted to go after the transplant so he could actually enjoy it. So it took years for it to happen, like 2 years. When he finally got the transplant and was ready to go, then his parents got a divorce, and the parents were debating on which parent would get to go on the trip. So it took even longer. And eventually, on his 19th birthday, he got to go.
So one of them is yours, actually. I'll tell you why. Because you see, when we do these wishes, you know, what we find, it's not just the child who suffers too, but the family does too.
Right.
So the family feels your pain, and we see that. So I just remember, first of all, how appreciative you were of it and talking about how it was life-changing. And I also remember your mother telling me that that it was life-changing for your family too. And she mentioned the 9/11 memorial, that you guys met a lady there that finally had the courage to go there, and because it was, I don't know if it was her son or it was a relative that died there, and so she finally had the courage to go there, and that was the first day she'd been there, and you met her and talked to her. But I just remember your mother telling me how it was life-changing for all of you. So those kind of wishes stick with us, at least, you know, with me. When I see that the whole family is it's just, you know, life-changing for them. So, you know, that was great to hear, and, you know, that was a great wish. Your wish was a great wish. Another one, I went on one that, again, when I say the whole family's involved, this one I got to go on too, because it was a kid, very shy, that he was going to go to some tropical, where there's tropical fish. That's what the mother told us. In the end, that's not what he did. He ended up, he was so shy though, it took a long time to actually find out what he wanted, but he had a picture above him, and it was of Jonathan Chichu on the San Jose Sharks. So at the time, I was playing hockey too then. I was playing hockey, so I told him, "Oh, you're into hockey?" And he said, "Not really. I've never played, but my friend had gone to a game. He said it was the most exciting thing he's ever been to." So in the end though, we finally got out of him, you know, what his wish was. He said, "I want to go meet this guy. I want to go to a Sharks game and meet him." So I got to go too. But what really stood out was when he saw Jonathan Chichu, and he was so shy too, just looking up at him, and it was incredible. And then Jonathan Chichu ended up, he's really shy too, so they're both there looking at each other, and they're trying to come up with something to talk about it. That was kind of funny. I go, "Oh man, I don't know how this is going to go." But finally Jonathan Chichu asked, can he take him back into the locker room, and luckily he turned around and took the little brother too, because the little brother wasn't happy with that wish. He wanted him to get a computer, but when the little brother got there, he enjoyed it too. So they went into the locker room. Then when the door opened up, I could see all the players surrounded him. They were surrounding him, talking to him, and he came out with all this stuff, signed sticks and shirts and all this stuff. So, but then afterwards, it was when the mother started to talk, and it got very emotional, because she was thanking Jonathan Chichu, and Patrick Marleau was the captain at the time too. He went out of his way too to talk to him, and she was just thanking them for what they did, and how much he had been through. But you could see again, it wasn't just him, it's the whole family. I could see the whole family felt the pain, so that was a great one. So that's another one. I'm taking too much time on that.
No, you're fine.
Another one was Tess Dunn's. I think I told you about her. I think you know about her. She has cystic fibrosis also. She's still doing her thing. She's still writing music. She's playing music. Actually, Amelia went to her event. We both went to her fundraiser she puts out at Moe's Alley in Santa Cruz. So we went to that. So she's still doing it. I just got an email too the other day with her with a remix of the very first CD she did, and that was her wish, that we produced that music for her. So that was another great one. And also another one where a girl, I don't know if you've heard of Jacob's Heart. Jacob's Heart's an organization that helps kids with cancer and the families. So her wish was a shopping spree that I went on too. We go on the shopping sprees, and her wish was to buy art supplies, and everything she bought went to Jacob's Heart, so we delivered it to her. So everything she bought, was for Jacob's Heart. That was great too. That was a good one. I'll never forget.
What came to mind was the very first wish that I was in charge of. So I've done a few where I was just observing, and I've done a few where I was a part of it, but I wasn't the main person to reach out and contact the family and organize everything. So the very first time I did it was around Christmas a couple years ago, for a little girl who lived in my same town. I would drive past where she lived all the time, and she had a heart of gold and this big smile, but missing her 2 front teeth. So it kind of looked like a jack-o'-lantern smile, like the cutest little thing. And when me and my partner, who I did it with, get there, even before we knock on the door, there's this big drawing on construction paper on the door. It says "Welcome, Make-A-Wish" with a big smile, and it was really, really special. And she ended up wishing for a shopping spree at the local mall, which we got to go to, and we went to Toys R Us too, and it was a blast. And she had a little sister, I think a year or two younger than her, and she was like buying her stuff too, and just such generosity and sweetness from someone so young who had been through so much pain.
Well, a lot of the ones that comes to mind for me is travel wishes. And for travel wishes, we always come up with a backup plan in case the doctors won't allow a child to travel due to the severity of the illness at the time. So there's been a number of those that I've done that we've come up with backup plans, and not always, just I'd say less times than more, they've had to go to the backup plan so that they can't travel. Otherwise, there was another one where a girl, they wanted a dog. They wanted a golden retriever, which normally wouldn't be a problem. But what happened was, I don't know, Amelia, did we do this one too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, she wanted a golden retriever, but because they had I think they had pit bulls. They also had pit bulls there. So once Make-A-Wish, the chapter office knew that they wouldn't allow that because of the danger for the dog. So they didn't allow that. But her backup plan was to go on a shopping spree. And she was the most organized I've ever been on. She was like, yeah, because normally these take all day because they don't know what to get. They're running around, and you only have so much time. So one of us is going with the child, the other one's paying and stuff. Well, this one took, I think, a half an hour. Yep. She had everything she knew. She had already researched it. She had been to the stores. We got the best manager. He came. I called him, and he said, "I'll be there." Yep. And so he came. So everything was organized. It took about a half an hour, and it was done. And I think normally we'll go out to lunch too, but it took every bit of money, which we don't care. Like, go ahead.
She had it down to the dime.
She had it down to the dime.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was done in a half an hour.
Sometimes, I guess it's important for me to mention that the wishes take a long time because sometimes the child isn't able to do the wish. They're not, maybe they're having another surgery or something unexpected happens with their health where it keeps getting pushed back and back and back. And then it eventually happens, but we try to keep in touch and keep them excited about it because you don't want them to think like, this is never going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that's just what came to mind. Yeah. I think it's important.
I did one where I was an airport greeter, okay, down at Monterey Airport. So that one was a cool one too because the kid was coming from Minnesota and he wanted to know more about sharks. Okay, he was into sharks. So so I had this big basket of stuff, right, for him. So I can tell the flight came because it's not many flights.
Right.
So people are walking out and I can tell it's him immediately because I'm sitting there and he's about, I'd say he's about 8 years old or something maybe. He wasn't shy one bit. As soon as he saw me, big smile, and came walking right up to me, away from his mother and aunt who were there. So he came right up to me and knew I was, coming there to greet him, and we started talking, and it didn't take long. I said, wait, I started asking about sharks, right? Didn't take long. I said, they're not going to be teaching you anything at the aquarium. You're going to be teaching them. I mean, this kid was amazing. The stuff he knew about him. He was going on and on about, sharks, and I couldn't believe it. The terminology he was using was incredible. So all I had to do really was, gave him the basket, show him where the rent-a-car thing was, and that was it. And told him, where to go and which road to take, and that was about it. And that's all, I had to do at that time. But I'm sure they had a great time. That kid was a great kid.
I got to do one where it was WrestleMania weekend, which is like the Super Bowl for pro wrestling. So they had kids from all over the U.S. fly to San Jose when it was at the Levi Stadium a couple years ago. And what they did was they had, I think it was like 30 of the kids with their wish to go to WrestleMania all go to the Tech Museum for a pizza party, and they didn't know, but Make-A-Wish had like 4 of the wrestlers there to meet them all and sign autographs and including John Cena, who's like a superstar and like actor, and it was really cool to be a part of that. 'Cause I got to meet a lot of the kids, but also see that you know, these athletes love what they're doing and they love being a part of Make-A-Wish. It was really cool. You could tell they really meant it, and the kids just exploded. They were just happy to get pizza and be there for the event. They had no idea they were going to meet these guys. It was pretty awesome. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say the trip to Dubai.
Okay,
The last wish
that was
that
cool.
Bob and I were a part of.
Right. And then I did one up in, I think it was Boulder Creek, where the girl asked to get her teeth worked on. That was different, and it must be cosmetic, because you know, insurance wouldn't cover it. So, and that was like that took about a year to actually. It just happened recently where she finally got the work done. But that was her wish, to get her teeth worked on. Another one was a kid wanted to be on a movie with God, what was the actress's name?
Megan Fox, the Tarantino. It had to be a Tarantino movie with Megan Fox.
Yeah, with Megan Fox. That was a big demand.
Pretty good wish.
Yeah, and he didn't want it to be any movie that's just going right to video, whatever. He wanted to be in the theater.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so but he ended up with Tarantino movie, but we switched that to Clint Eastwood, because Clint Eastwood at the time was big on to Make-A-Wish. He was I think it was part of the big gala they do down in Monterey and stuff. He put that on as a fundraiser, but it never happened. And I think it was because that's what he was set on, and he wasn't going to take anything less. You know, the kid was kind of funny, so I don't think that ever happened. Again, there's a couple. There's one I did where the girl and her sisters and parents went to Rome. So that would have been cool, and that was just this last summer, and it was all paid for, and I mean, that would have been cool to be able to do that. So they stayed there for quite a while, like a week too, I think. So they got to see all the sights around Rome, and that would have been cool. Another one was, I think we did this one too, with a girl. A lot of kids say, like, when they want to go to, they want to swim with the dolphins, but this girl wanted to see Winter and Hope. Remember the movie Winter, was it called?
Dolphin Tale.
Dolphin Tale.
Yeah.
She wanted to meet the actual dolphin, Winter, so she could identify with, you know, with a dolphin that actually had, you know, limitations too. So that was cool. That would have been cool to see that.
Yeah.
Their interaction there. So that one was another one, I thought.
Who doesn't love Disneyland? Enough said. Yeah, I just want to say that both Bob and I do enjoy being volunteers very much, and you really get a lot back from doing this, and I highly recommend that if you have the time to become a volunteer for Make-A-Wish, you should absolutely look into it.